Flawless victory.
We in the dojo, ain't no days off. The way isn't training, you don't bleed in practice, you die in the field. Look, swinging the wood till my knuckles are bleeding. I don't need rest, it's the combat I'm needing. 10,000 hours, I'm locked in the zone. Carving my spirit right down to the bone. Stepping my radius, watch how I sever. I'm swinging this blade like I do this forever. Practice make lethal, the rest make me cold. I'm gripping the steel till my body gets old. You talking that talk, but you skipping the gym. I look at the week and I pity for him. Every single morning I wake up and strike. You never seen discipline looking like. I empty my lungs and I swing out the chest. I treat every shadow like it is a test. The way is the practice is war. I leave all my enemies down on the floor. Rap at the right, yeah, we put in that pain and don't talk about love, but the ways in training. Blood on the wood and the sweat on the mat. I'm drilling the bases, I'm leaving it flat. Rap at the right, yeah, we put in that pain and don't talk about love, but the ways in training. Slide in the footwork, I pivot and pop. I'm built for the trenches, I never will stop. Look at the calluses covering my hands. I'm executing these tactical plans. You sleeping in late, I was up in the dark. Leaving the den in the wood and the bark. Slow down the tempo, I'm taking my time. Perfect the angle, I perfect the crown. 1,000 more cuts just to build up the muscle. You don't understand the extent of the hustle. Drilling the parry, I'm drilling the block. I'm beating the sun and I'm beating the clock. There ain't no secret, there ain't no hack. You step on the battlefield, you don't come back. Unless you put hours and hours of sweat. I am a consequence, I am a threat. Continue with practice, I never retreat. I'm dropping the opposition at my feet. Rap out the rap, yeah, we put in that pain and don't talk about love, but the ways in training. Blood on the wood and the sweat on the mat. I'm drilling the bases, I'm leaving it flat. Rap out the rap, yeah, we put in that pain and don't talk about love, but the ways in training. Slide in the footwork, I pivot and pop. I'm built for the trenches, I never will stop. No days off, no excuses. You skip a day, you slip away. Strike 1,000 times before the sun is up. My mind is heavy, but my blade is light. Drill it again. Yeah. Aggressive approach when I step in the ring. I swing with the force that a hurricane bring. Master the form till the form is a ghost. I'm doing the most when you're doing the least. I turn myself into tactical beast. The ways in training, it's etched in my brain. I'm walking through fire, I'm walking through rain. Ain't no arrival, it's only the grind. I'm leaving the rest of the rookies behind. Grab out the road, yeah, we put in that pain and don't talk about luck, but the ways in training. Blood on the wood and the sweat on the mat. I'm drilling the bases, I'm leaving it flat. Grab out the road, yeah, we put in that pain and don't talk about luck, but the ways in training. Slide in the footwork, I pivot and pop. I'm built for the trenches, I never will stop. Keep swinging, keep drilling. The ways of practice. Yeah. Yeah. The ways of
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It is Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday. And the end of April. Today's the last of April. Tomorrow, we're in May. We're almost halfway through the year. We might as well be going into 2027, 2028. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
I was born ready. I was born ready because we are always working, always refining our processes, always trying to get better. Tonight, we are going back, not to Cali, never to Cali. We're going back into learning how to test these AI models so that we can continue to grow and to learn and to transition into the next phase of software development. If you think you're just gonna stay where you started, you are absolutely wrong. The world continues to turn. So we're going to continue figuring out how to test AI models. I got my PyCharm open over here. I have my Gemini over here, and we're just going to get it in. We are going to get it in. During our breaks, we're going to be talking about FAA and how they're going to be implementing AI and upgraded infrastructure to give support to our air traffic controllers. You are going to be so surprised at what they're using. I watched a very little bit of the video and I was like, oh my God, what is this? I was shocked, and I think you're going to be shocked as well. we're going to be jumping into Uber's app, how they're trying to incorporate everything into their app, a one-stop shop. Yes, a one-stop shop. And then for my New Yorkers out there, you know, while you guys are fighting about trying to tax people, tax the rich and trying to take their property for them, trying to make their life a living hell, you're also launching air taxis over at JFK. So how you like those? How you like those apples? We're gonna check that out as well. So a very, very great lineup tonight. But before we do any of that, we're going to kick it off with a little bit of housekeeping. So first and foremost, thank you to every subscriber who's joining the channel, allowing me to add value into your life. I hope that you are finding everything informative. Everything is fun, exciting, funny, all that good stuff, because my goal is to keep you informed on this tech stuff, but also have a good time making tech fun. Because maybe tech was never fun, but my goal is to give you the approach to enjoy it so that you're like, oh, this tech stuff, it's so boring. I'm going to go back to be a waitress or a waiter because that is so much fun. No, let's make tech fun. That way you can go and get the bag. More money. And you're not going to be bored out of your mind. All right. And this is how it should be for whatever it is that you do. Go get your money, but enjoy getting that money too. Enjoy getting that money. Yes. Make it fun. All right. So so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Shout out to my tech barbarians out there. We have a vibe code and chill coming up this Saturday. And you guys give a round of applause for my guy, Junior. I know that he is anxiously waiting until the first so that he can be let go, so he can get out of solitary confinement from Lovable, so he can continue working on his apps. And he's going to be sharing some of that with us on Saturday at Vibe Code and Chill over at techcoachralph.dev. I can't wait. We're going to have some great conversations. We're going to be hearing about some projects that my business analyst is thinking about, and my Q engineer is going to be sharing about artificial intelligence and what he is learning about it, what it actually means. A great opportunity to ask some questions. I'll probably be a little bit more hands-off this Vibe Code and Chill to give the floor to all of my tech barbarians sharing their amazing accomplishments, their research, presentations, all of that good stuff. So shout out to all my tech barbarians, and shout out to my tech mercenaries, the YouTube channel members who keep this channel alive. Thank you so much. You allow this channel to go across the world. We are the best. Let's go out there and get it. So with that being said, I appreciate you. We are the very, very best. We the best. And as always, let's go out there and get it. Let's get it. Tomorrow. Oh my God. Our episode of the Bug Bite is going to be talking about how this gentleman has a business. I forgot what country he's in. He has a business, Google Cloud Platforms, and he got a bill for like $25,000. Here's the kicker though. He had his limit set to $7 a month. $7 a month.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
How did this happen? And how can you prevent it from happening to you? We're going to be talking about it tomorrow. The Bug Bite. Check it out. I'm going to be dropping that either 8 a.m., maybe noon. I don't know. But it's going to be dropping tomorrow. So check that out. It's a crazy story. We're going to investigate. And I want you to protect yourself so that you don't end up waking up to a $25,000 Google Cloud Platform bill or AWS or any of those platforms. Be careful because they're out there to get you. They are out there to get you. All right. Saturday, like I said, Vibe Code and Chill, techcoachralph.dev. We're going to be streaming it live to the Patreon. You can also join us for the conversation on Google Meet. The link is it's scheduled at techcoachralph.dev. The link to the Google Meetup is also in the post. So you can either stream it live on Patreon or you can join us on the Google Meet to join the conversation, ask questions, all of that good stuff. All right. Sunday, we're going to be going live again. We're going to be working on the speech coaching app. I'm telling you, I have a meeting tonight with my tech barbarian. Raised a very, very great point. It's like, hey, Tech Coach Ralph. This is how the conference, like we're at Scrum Night on this past Sunday. And he's like, hey, Tech Coach Ralph. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, so that app you had me testing, how does a new user sign up? I had never thought about that. I'm like, because I had the login, I just went in there and logged in. Oh, cool, great, good to go. And my tech barber is like, yes, it's a really cool app, but no one can sign up for it. I was like,
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But that is the beauty of developing and having great people, great astute people on your team. So I was excited. So we're gonna have that conversation tonight, adding some more features this coming. We did it. We had the same exact issue on Tuesday for the Tech Barbarians coaching portal. We took care of that. We're going to be doing the same exact thing for the speech coaching app, adding those features. Users are able to create their account, to log in, to do all the good stuff, all of the good stuff over at techcoachralph.dev, right? So that's going to be on Sunday. Join us. All right. So that's everything that's all of our housekeeping. Let's check the chat really quick. And then we're going to get into our first topic of the night before we get to work. Right. So we got my guy in the building. What up, Junior? What's good, Junior? How are you doing today? Hopefully everything is going absolutely phenomenal.
What's up?
Junior hits me with the what's up, family. I am all good. I know you are as well, Junior. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for being here early, because I'm telling you, and to be fair, I did get started semi on time. If I get started within 10 minutes of the scheduled time, I believe that I am on time. Let me know what you think about that. All right. All right. So why do I have this up? Why do I even have this up? So we're gonna jump into our first topic of tonight, which is going to be Uber. We're gonna talk about Uber. Let's talk about Uber, right? So Uber has this everything. All right, stop the show. Before we jump into Uber, what up to my guy, Rod Brown? What's up, Rod Brown? How are you doing today? Hopefully you are doing absolutely phenomenal. You and your MacBook Pro. What's going on, Rod Brown? Hopefully everything is going well with you. All right, let's go ahead and, all right, let's do this. Let's jump into our first topic of tonight. All right, so Uber's Everything app, or their Everything app strategy. I want to hear about it. I haven't watched any of this yet, so I'm very curious.
Welcome back. Uber just rolling out new details about its Everything app strategy. For that, we'll turn to Mackenzie Sagalos, having just spoken to the company's president. She joins us this morning. Hey, Mac.
Hey, good morning, Carl. So Uber share is actually in the red so far this morning as the company doubles down on a strategy to become a quote-unquote everything app. The rideshare giant now making a major move into travel, partnering with Expedia and Vrbo to let users search and book hotels and vacation rentals. Now, for the nearly 50 million Uber One members, the company is sweetening the deal with 20% discounts and credits. I asked Uber president and COO Andrew McDonald whether they're subsidizing those perks to drive adoption, similar to the early ride-hailing days. He pushed back, saying this is not a subsidy game. Uber is giving back part of its own take to reward members and drive more engagement. And that's the bigger question here, whether this is really about hotels or about making Uber One the center of the business.
We even, candidly debate that internally at times. Are we a membership-first company? People often think of a company like Amazon as a membership-first company. You think of yourself, or a Costco, or these sort of great member-led companies, and we take a lot from their playbook.
Now, the company is also rolling out AI-powered voice booking using models from OpenAI, plus a unified search bar across rides and eats, and a new feature that lets users pre-order a coffee or snack that will show up with their driver, all in this wider push to make Uber a super app. But the bigger long-term question is AVs, which were not a centerpiece of today's product announcements. I asked McDonald about the company potentially moving into first-party fleet ownership after years of pitching an asset-light model.
If that involves sort of changing our traditional business model, either temporarily to get the sort of marketplace going or permanently, we'll do that, because we're not committed to we're not led by a business model consideration. We're led by a customer consideration.
So, first question: Are you an Uber member? Like, do you have the Uber One program? I personally don't use Uber enough to have an Uber membership. I live in a suburban area, not in a crowded city where I have to take Ubers all the time. So I never really considered getting Uber One. I don't really do Uber Eats. If I want to go get something to eat, I'll just go hop in the car, go and get it and come back. I'm doing that. But I know there are a lot of people though. They live off Uber for rides, for Uber Eats. Also about the hotels, I would have thought that Uber might have integrated first with like Airbnb, because that seems like more of the Uber model. But it looks like they're jumping into hotels and stuff like that. And the last thing I want to touch on, what they're talking about right now with the EVs, or not even EVs, I guess robo-taxis, is would Uber pivot into buying a bunch of these EVs to manage on their own, or would they contract another company? Or they would have to contract another, because a lot of time right now, people humans, they will do Uber and Lyft at the same time. Because you'll see the Uber sign, you see the Lyft sign. So I'm just wondering, what direction would Uber go in? And if Uber was to go into getting all these assets, like they would own all these cars, they have to keep up with the maintenance and all of that. How much more is that going to cost them? And is that going to affect their investors? Because maybe people were interested in Uber because the cost is so low. All they really have to do is manage the app, and everything else they had like 1099 contracts and stuff like that. But now if they have to have all these assets and stuff like that, I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Donald making clear that Uber believes the future of mobility is autonomous, as he put it, and they're going to do whatever it takes to lead on that, even if that means getting into owning their own autonomous vehicles after shutting down that effort in 2020. Guys? Wow.
So that's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering about this whole Uber thing. Are they going to turn their backs on their drivers? Because here's what you got to think, right? Autonomous, great, amazing. But now if Uber goes into the owning all of these cars, they need to have a place to charge them. They need to have a lot more infrastructure. Where do Waymo cars? That's a great question. That is a great question. Let me go and open up a Gemini, because let me see, Gemini. Let's go to Gemini. Where do Waymo cars go when they are not in service? Because I never actually thought about this. What does the infrastructure look like for these robo taxis? Where do they go? Because you need a whole infrastructure, I would say, wouldn't you? When Waymo autonomous vehicles aren't actively ferrying passengers, they don't just aimlessly roam the streets. Depending on their battery levels, maintenance needs, and current ride demand, they generally head to one of two main types of locations: Waymo depots, the home base, if a vehicle needs physical attention or if citywide demand is extremely low, like in the middle of the night, it will navigate back to a dedicated Waymo depot. These are private secured facilities with service lots where the fleet is managed. Cars go here for recharging, getting plugged into DC chargers, cleaning, routine interior and exterior detailing to clear out trash or sensor debris, maintenance, hardware servicing, sensor calibration, and physical inspections by human staff, long-term parking, staging areas for when the cars simply aren't needed on the road. So let's stop here right quick, right? I just seen a bunch of jobs. I just seen Unless you get the humanoid robots to go and plug the, because the humanoid robot could plug the DC fast chargers in. That's definitely, but cleaning routine, like for them to be able to clean the cars and stuff like that, I don't know, you maybe need a human for that. Maintenance, hardware servicing, sensor calibration, physical inspections by human staff. Okay, that's job opportunities right there. Long-term parking staging area, that's not really a human job right there, but at least for the maintenance, maybe the cleaning, recharging, you could find a way around that. All right, strategic loitering spots, the waiting game. If a car is fully charged, clean, and just waiting for its next rider, it usually doesn't go all the way back to the depot. That would be a waste of energy, increase wait times for customers. Instead, Waymo's central algorithm predicts where the next ride requests are most likely to happen and sends the cars to wait nearby. To do this, the cars will find street parking. They frequently pull into legal, free street parking spaces in residential or commercial neighborhoods for a ping. Using standing zones, they may temporarily pull over into areas where standing but not long-term parking is permitted, as the car is technically still running and can move immediately if hailed. Cluster in quiet neighborhoods. The AI simply looks for available space near prediction zones. This is why residents in Waymo service cities like Phoenix, San Francisco, or Los Angeles sometimes report seeing a small squad of empty robo-taxis parked quietly on their neighborhood streets or in random cul-de-sacs waiting for local demand to spike. I would be kind of scared and nervous if I saw that there were a bunch of empty cars plotting up on my street. Like they're just... If you saw the movie, what was the name of that movie that the Obamas produced or whatever, they I don't know what they did with it, but they had some involvement in it when all the Teslas were just... You know what? I just realized something. They could have used any EVs or any EVs to crash, but they specifically chose Tesla because do they hate Elon Musk? That might be what it is. That might be what it is. Essentially, they act like a lot of human rideshare drivers. If they need to refuel or a break, they go back to the dedicated stations. If they're just waiting for a customer, they find a quiet, free place to pull over near the action. All right, so I'm gonna say if Uber was to start getting their own autonomous EVs, that would increase their assets. What would the cost look like to own their own fleet versus their current model of having human drivers? That's what I'm curious about. And while that's loading, I am also curious about... I saw this video, or was it I don't know what it was, but it's something about police can give robo taxis tickets. Saw something about that the other day. Oh yeah, let's pull that up too real quick. Let's pull that up too. Want to check that one out too before we get to work. All right, let me see it. So it says, perfect question, as Uber is literally in the middle of navigating this exact pivot right now. Historically, Uber has been the ultimate asset-light company, but they are currently committing billions with recent 26 reports showing $10 billion initiative for the ad-heavy model to compete with Waymo and Tesla. If Uber transitions to owning its own fleet of autonomous EVs, it completely flips its financial structure from top to bottom. Here's what the cost comparison looks like. The current model, asset-light human drivers, the current gig economy setup, the human drivers absorbs almost all of the physical overhead, vehicle acquisition, capex $0 for Uber. The driver buys or leases the car, on depreciation $0 for Uber. The driver's car loses value with every mile driven. Operating expense, fuel, electricity, tires, oil change, cleaning, repairs are all paid out of the driver's pocket. Labor costs, high. Uber pays the driver a massive chunk, typically 70 to 80% of the total fare. I didn't know it was that much. I didn't know it was that much. Says the results, Uber acts simply as a software broker. They have low physical costs and low liability, but they only get to keep 20 to 30% of the revenue from each ride. The autonomous fleet model asset heavy. If Uber owned robotaxis, they keep getting 100% of they get to keep 100% of rider fares. However, they now have to act as a massive logistics fleet company, absorbing all the cost the human drivers used to handle. Massive capital expenditure. They have to buy physical cars and the expensive autonomous sensor suites, the lidar camera, the cameras, radar, computing units, all of that. Even at scale, the vehicles can cost anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000 each. Multiplying that by hundreds of thousands of vehicles fundamentally transforms Uber's balance sheet into a massive capital-intensive ledger. Fleet operations and real estate. Cars don't maintain themselves. Uber has to purchase or lease real estate in every major city for fleet hubs. Oof. Yep. They have to hire human crews for daily interior cleaning since there's no driver to clean up the spills, tire rotations, and hardware maintenance. Charging infrastructure that have to build or release dedicated DC fast charging depots to keep the fleet moving efficiently. Accelerated depreciation. Autonomous vehicles are essentially giant computers on wheels. Just like a smartphone, the tech becomes obsolete quickly. Uber would have to write off the depreciation of these expensive assets over a relatively short cycle, likely 4 to 6 years. Insurance and remote oversight. Uber becomes 100% liable for every accident. Furthermore, they have to pay for a remote command center filled with human operators to monitor the cars and intervene digitally when the AI gets confused by construction zones or emergency vehicles. The financial trade-off, the core equation comes down to per mile economics. Currently paying a human driver effectively creates a floor on how cheap a ride can be. You have to pay the human enough to make it worth their time. With an own autonomous fleet, the upfront costs are staggering, but the marginal cost per mile drops drastically. Electricity is cheaper than gas, and electrons don't require a tip or a minimum wage. Ooh. Told y'all. So, oosh. Me and my sister used to say that when we were kids. If Uber can keep the cars highly utilized, running almost 24/7 instead of driver's 8-hour shift, the vehicle generates significantly more revenue over their lifespan, allowing Uber to eventually operate at a higher profit margin per ride. In short, Uber trades the flexibility and low overhead of the gig economy for the massive upfront costs and logistical headaches of running a global robotic transit authority, all for the prize of keeping 100% of the fare. So what do you think that Uber should do? Should they say, you know what? Screw you drivers who are getting accused of harassing customers and doing stuff that you shouldn't do with riders, and we're gonna spend all this money. Let me know your thoughts, but I do want to go and check out this video that I saw the other day about police being able to give these cars tickets.
California is putting a new rule in place to make sure robo-taxis are not above the law. So it comes after incidents like this. Well, back in September, a San Bruno police officer pulled over a Waymo that made an illegal U-turn. But without a human in the car, he had no one to ticket. Now that's changing. The DMV is giving police the green light to issue tickets to driverless cars. Kenny Choi breaks down the new rules.
For years, the big question when it comes to driverless cars is what happens when they break the law. The DMV has implemented new rules, but the overall impact is still unclear. Driverless cars like Waymo robotaxis can now be ticketed just like any other car on the road. New DMV rules give law enforcement the green light to cite AV companies for moving violations. Companies like Waymo will also be forced to respond to calls from police and fire within 30 seconds. Ahmed Banafa is an engineering professor at San Jose State.
There will be some kind of punishment, penalties for that. And that
What does it mean? What does it mean that they have to respond to policing calls within 30 minutes? A little confusing.
you're going to force them to do it better, because this is the only way you can force a company to do better if that's going to reflect in their reputation with their customers.
The changes come after high-profile issues, including hundreds of Waymos stalling and blocking intersections during a San Francisco blackout last December. The San Francisco Fire Department has repeatedly complained about driverless cars entering emergency zones and impacting responses. AV companies can face penalties if their cars drive through these zones. The Autonomous Vehicle Industry Association, which represents Waymo's industry interests, did not specifically address the ticketing rules, but commended the new DMV regulations as a whole, saying in part, autonomous vehicle innovators operating in California have a clear, workable path to test and deploy, ensuring the state will continue to benefit from autonomous technology through safer roads, enhance accessibility, and strengthen supply chains. State Senator Dave Cortese has called autonomous vehicles unfinished technology and has introduced legislation SB 1246 calling for more.
Is there any technology that's ever finished though? Like, come on. No technology is ever finished, so you don't know what you're talking about.
Oversight, including ending the practice of one person in a control room monitoring more than 3 vehicles.
Okay, so if you don't have a driver in the car, where is the nearest human? Okay, it's a remote operator. All right, well, we want those remote operators to be at the right ratio. We want them to understand California laws, just like we'd want the human driver to understand California laws.
Cortese believes the new DMV rules won't dramatically change the way companies like Waymo operate in the short run. But Banafa believes more legislation and oversight rules will eventually give the public more safety data and lead to other changes within the industry.
And that will really identify them how safe they are. And that's going to build some kind of a trust by saying, okay, you know, in how many incidents this car or this company faced so far. So they will be forced to change the hardware and the software to, you know, to interact with the police.
The DMV says the new regulations are the most comprehensive in the country.
Here are some of the other new rules from the DMV. Car companies can now apply for permits to test and use heavy-duty autonomous vehicles like big rigs. Robo-taxi companies also need to have plans to allow first responders to manually override their cars. And cities can now create geofences in emergencies. These fences would keep the robo-taxis out of certain areas.
I think that's fair. I don't know why the police weren't able to write tickets to the robo taxis in the first place. I just write it to the company and have them pay the fees. And I also think that if a robo taxi has a traffic violation, you should have a different pricing standard, because it's not like you're a human that's being hit upside the head with it. And it's not like you're putting points. So let's say if a Waymo breaks the traffic laws, let's say the regular ticket price for a human doing it would have been $200. Have the autonomous one be $1,000. I mean, the only difference is they're just going to pass the cost over to the customer. But I do think that it is fair that the autonomous, the robo taxis and stuff, they should get charged more for their violations, because they're computers. They should not be making these mistakes. So, but I'm with it though. I'm with it. What do you guys think? What do you think about the police being able to ticket these robo taxis and they're passing out these additional laws and measures in California? I'm personally with it. Let me know your thoughts. Drop me a comment as well. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content. As well, go to techcrunch.dev. We do have Vibe Code and Chill. We have our Scrum Nights. We have access to Resume Flow, Tech Barbarians Coaching Portal, and the Speak Precisely app, so that it can help you get your life together, your career together, all of that good stuff. All right. Let me go and check the chat, see what the thoughts are on this Uber stuff. Then we're gonna get to work. All right. Rod says, I'm editing on the couch right now. What? Shout out to my guy Rod Brown, living it up. See. Yeah.
Ain't believing us.
I tried to tell you. It is night and day. I might be going to visit some relatives that I don't really care to say much to. It might be my wife's relatives or something, and I would take my laptop and I'm like, oh, I'm working. Like, oh, how you doing? I'm doing great because I'm working. All right. Let me see. My guy Junior says, I think that'll be a lot more expense for Uber, a lot more liability, overhead, maintenance, employees. And the thing, it's not like they're going to get rid of human drivers altogether, but from my understanding, all right, let me see. What's the average cost of a Waymo or Tesla ride compared to a Lyft or Uber ride with the same exact parameters? I'm just curious, right? Like, what is because like they said, Waymo has, they need to have their depot. Tesla needs to have their depot. All these other EV companies need to have their depot. and there's very little overhead for Lyft and for Lyft and for Uber. So, all right. Oof. Oof. All right. It's over. It's over. It's get them out of here. So what I'm seeing right now is that the rideshare market is going through a massive pricing shift right now. While autonomous rides used to carry a heavy novelty tax, the price has rapidly compressed in 2026. Based on market data from early 2026, tracking thousands of rides, specifically from pricing trackers like Obi, here's exactly how the average cost compares head to head for the exact same parameters. If you request a standard ride roughly 5 miles in a competitive market, here's where the average pricing lands. Tesla Robotaxi, that's kind of low. $8.25? That's weird. For human, Lyft, $15.49. For Uber, $17.47. For the Jaguared out Waymo, so you can get a ride in a Waymo a Waymo Jaguar for $19.69. For Uber, you might get picked up in a 2016 Honda CR-V. For Lyft, might be a Toyota Corolla. Waymo versus Uber and Lyft. Waymo is currently closing the pricing gap with human drivers at an aggressive pace. Just a year ago, Waymo was charging 30% to 40% premiums over Uber. Today, the gap has shrunk to roughly 10 to 13%. Short rides. For quick trips downtown, Waymo remains about 12% more expensive than Uber and 27% more expensive than Lyft. You are paying a slight premium for the privacy of an empty car and a guaranteed lack of awkward driver conversation.
How dare you?
That's rude. That is so rude. Maybe Gemini's biased because they're both owned by Google. Longer rides, if you're riding between 3 to 6 miles, the premium cost almost completely vanishes. For longer distances, Waymo is currently about 2% more expensive than Uber. The outlier, Tesla Robotaxi. Tesla is completely undercutting the entire market because they are leveraging retrofitted Model Ys and eventually the mass overproduced Cybercab. They're with their vision only autonomous software. Their operating costs are significantly lower than Waymo's expensive lidar setups. So basically, if you were to lease a Tesla and then you return it, they say, "All right, cool. Thank you for the car back." It's going to turn into a robo taxi. That's smart. That is smart. Shout out to my guy. Is Magnetar here? If he's not, shout out to my guy Elon Musk doing it again.
More money, more money.
Wait till Tesla starts hitting all these markets. All right. Let me see what else we got. Robin says, I only use Uber when I go out of town. Me too. And that's like, if it's somewhere that I'm not driving, like if I have to fly somewhere, and normally when I fly somewhere, I don't go many places. So I'm like I'm in walking distance. So, but from the airport to wherever I'm staying at, Uber drops me off over there. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Nowhere to go. And yes, I did catch myself. Rob Brown says, if I get a ticket, then they get a ticket as well. Shout out to that. We got my guy Gabe in the building. What up, Gabe? Is popping in. Shout out to you, Gabe. How are you? I'm looking forward to seeing you at Vibe Code and Chill on Saturday. All right, looking forward to seeing you at Vibe Code and Chill. And you says, I only use Uber to get me to the airport if nobody's available. Yeah, and yeah, I don't. Something that is on my not to do list from Cody Sanchez is not to pick up or drop off people to the airport. I'm still working on that one, but when I travel, I would rather just park my car near the airport and then I can just get it when I come back, and I don't have to ask anybody to go anywhere. I don't take trips for more than a week, anyways. If I have to go somewhere, so just public service announcement. Don't ask me to take you to the airport, and don't ask me to pick you up from the airport, please. Just I'm just being honest. All right, I'm just being honest. Don't ask me to pick you up from the airport. All right. let's get into work. Let's get into work for tonight. We're gonna jump into boom. Testing AI models, all right? It is the next step for us. We need to figure this out. So we're going to, oh, now I remember we had our ghetto user complaint. That was so funny last week. Oh my God. All right, let's go over to here. And I'm gonna try to put up our first 20.
It's time to do.
So last week, we had the user complaint, right? And you know what? We're gonna read it again because so we were testing these AI models last week. We're using Gemini, and we wanted to convert the generation prompt, convert the following user complaint into a professional bug ticket with a title, description, steps to reproduce, and then we pass in the ghetto user complaint. All right. And for context and humor, we're gonna read the ghetto complaint again. All right. So here's the ghetto user complaint that we came up with. Ayo, big bruh, check it. This app y'all got is straight trash. I'm trying to cop them 11s. Feel me? I'm out here tapping the screen on this brand new iPhone 17 Pro. Joint cost me 2 racks on God, but every time I hit that checkout, the whole bit just bricks. It's talking about some Stripe 500 nonsense. I don't even know what that is. I just know my bread is right and your system is tripping. Fix the glitch ASAP, man. I'm trying to be icy for the club tonight. So icy for the club tonight, so I can pull a bad one, a baddie, because you know. I'm going. Don't have me out here looking dusty because your tech is weak. Fix up. And that deserves a bruh. Fair, right? Fair. So that's what we're passing in, this the ghetto user complaint, and then in the future we'll extract it to to do that. All right. So now we're passing that the ghetto user complaint, and we're saying generation prompt, convert the following the ghetto user complaint or the following user complaint into a professional bug ticket with a title, description, steps to reproduce. And this is asking Gemma to generate a bug ticket, and then it passes the actual ticket called Gemma generation prompt. So we tried with model DeepSeek. We have DeepSeek. We have so you can do it to like compare models if you wanted. And the system prompt, you are a professional QA engineer. I was not a fan of the DeepSeek results, but we're gonna run it again just so you can see what it came out with. And we are doing all right. So we're doing the test large language model judge. So let's run that just so you can see what happens. And it's actually asking DeepSeek, but I just never updated this. I guess I could do that I could put this within here. Although I would say call Gemma, but that's just fixing up the code a little bit. But this is where we have the call Gemma. I can say call model instead of saying call Gemma. We're defaulting to Gemma 4. And oh, did I close out? I might have closed out. Oh no, I didn't. There it goes. But yeah, we're saying call Gemma, but we can call it call model to make it more accurate. And then we're defaulting to Gemma 4, and then we're passing in the model that we're calling, the prompt that we want, the system prompt. We're not streaming it, and the temperature, so we can get like slightly varied results to have non-deterministic results, right? And so right now we're just printing it. We're not doing any testing yet. We're just printing it out, making sure that the model is able to do the work. And all right, so let's see what DeepSeek came, because we're gonna go back to Gemma 4, of course. But one thing I'm not crazy about with DeepSeek is that it gives you like the thinking part, which it's all right in certain cases, but not necessarily in this case. So the user provided this query where they want to convert a user complaint into a bug ticket. So we're just going to go to the bug ticket. App checkout glitch on iPhone 17 Pro. The user is reporting issue with their checkout process in the app. They were using a brand new iPhone 17 Pro for their transaction, but encountered difficulties every time they attempted to complete the checkout, resulting in an error message referencing Stripe 500. The user expressed frustration and requested immediate resolution to ensure they can successfully complete their purchase without further complications. Step to reproduce, open up the app on a brand new iPhone 17 Pro, attempt to check out while viewing products for the first time, receive an error message indicating the problem with Stripe 500. So this is the old DeepSeek model on how it would write the bug ticket. So I'm going to change it back though to, I'm going to take out model because it's going to default to Gemma 4. And we're going to go with that. We're going to do it again. So I was asking Gemma 4. And once we have that, then we're going to look into the next step. We're going to go back to Gemini to find out, okay, what's the next step of testing these AI models? What do we do next? Okay. While that's happening, I'm going to start looking over here. All right. So, all right, let's let Gemma work. It's a little slower than DeepSeek apparently, but all right. So what we saw last time. What's going on here? Why is this here? Okay, something's wrong with Gemini, because it always, like, every time I go to this, it pulls this up. Right. So all right, so we're here in order to learn the AI testing process. Can you suggest the next steps that move us closer to the non-deterministic testing, where we can implement some real AI testing tools and results? To move you into non-deterministic testing, we have to change the mechanism from response equals expected string, is what we did. We used the pattern called large language model as a judge. This pattern you can use. A large, what's this in? You can use a large language model to evaluate the output of another large language model based on strict rubric. This is the exact mechanism that enterprise AI testing frameworks like DeepEval, Ragus, and Langsmith use under the hood. Before you adopt one of those heavy frameworks, building this pattern from scratch in Python is the best way to understand the core mechanics of AI QA. Here is how we test a non-deterministic task, taking a messy, unstructured user complaint and having the model turn it into a professional Jira bug. So we did this. So that's what we just looked through. And all right, so where we stopped last time was over here. We want to do the scoring part, right? So we're gonna get into this part next. And like I said, I like to type everything because it helps, like, remember and bring context and stuff like that. What's going on with this is taking way too long. All right, so let's go back over here. We're gonna get started on that. I think what I did last time was I moved this over here and I moved okay. Let's move this here. Let's go down to, where are we at? So we're over here. All right, so Gemma generated the tickets. Gemma, it just took a long time. Asking Gemma to generate the bug ticket. So the bug ticket product, so definitely off rip, Gemma does a much better layout. Product area, checkout, payment processing, component, card and checkout flow, payment gateway, integration, Stripe, severity, critical S1, blocking core revenue generating function. They did a way better job than DeepSeek, but to be fair, this is a very old model of DeepSeek that we're using. Like, that's like from when it first came out, so it's very old. Title critical, application crashes, fails with 500 error upon checkout initiation. User unable to complete a purchase transaction resulting in application crash or failure state, displaying Stripe 500. And then all the steps to reproduce, expected results, actual results, technical details and environment, observed errors, impact, device, platform, OS version. No, this book requires investigation into our backend server log, status 500, to determine if it's a failure is related to rate limiting, server overload, or misconfigured connection. Very good stuff. All right, so now with that being said, we are going to get to the next step of, so we're all the way up to here, right? So we're gonna get into phase 2. I'm gonna copy this slide. And I'm gonna say phase 2, the evaluation, and this is the part that's very important, right? Evaluation LLM as a judge. And let me see something real quick. So LLM as a judge is using a large language model to evaluate the output of another large language model as a strict rubric, all right? That's what we're gonna figure out. And then if we need to get some additional insight, then we'll prompt about it as well. But we're gonna say eval rubric equals, and then we're gonna go to the next line. I guess we gotta put another one of these. And we're gonna say, you are an expert. That's annoying. Wait, what's going on here? Hold up. Oh, I got 4, that's why. What? Hold up. Let me see. All right, there you go. You are an expert QA manager grading a bug ticket. Review the provided ticket and evaluate it based on these criterias. Evaluate. The criteria is, let me do this like this instead. So I can see the whole thing. Where is it? Okay, so phase 1, phase 2. All right, there we go. So all right, number 1, does it explicitly mention the iPhone/iOS platform? Two, does it mention the 500 error from Stripe? 3, is the tone professional? No slang like bruh. Return your evaluation as a strict JSON object with 2 keys. Score in, let me scroll down this a little bit, an integer from 0 to 100 based on how well it met the criteria. And the next one is going to be reason, a 1-sentence explanation for the score. Okay, so we have our score and our reason. That's what we're asking it to return to us. Do not include any markdown formatting or any other text outside the JSON object. All right, there we go. What is going on with this one? Oh, I had one more. Okay, cool, got it. All right, now we're gonna say eval prompt equals f string, and we're gonna say eval rubric n, it's a new line, and ticket to evaluate, new line, and then actual ticket. All right, and then we're gonna say, oops. Print to asking Gemma to evaluate its own output based on the QA rubric. And then evaluation results equals call Gemma eval prompt. And then the thing is, we can always like, because of how we structured call Gemma, which we're going to change the call model at some point, we can always say use a different model to do the evaluation. It doesn't have to be Gemma. All right, and we can even, I can even show you that in a little bit. So then we want to clean up the response in case the model wraps it in markdown code blocks, which we specifically told it not to do. Okay, and we're gonna say cleaned results equals re.sub r, and then the backticks JSON backticks, comma, 2 of those, and then evaluation results dot, oops, outside dot strip. Okay, so we got that, and then we want to say, oops, no, this, why is this acting? Too many blank lines. Whatever. And then we say a try statement and eval data equals JSON.loads to load the JSON of the clean results that we're creating here. And we're saying score equals eval data dot get. So inside of eval data, there should be inside that JSON, there should be a score. That's what we're requesting. And then what is this over here? Okay, not yet. All right, so then we say, now we want to get the reason equals eval data dot get, and then we're looking for the field reason. And if it doesn't find a reason, it says no reason provided. All right, now we want to say print string, new line, and then we're going to say evaluation results score, and then we're going to put in the score over 100, reason for the season, we're going to say reason. All right, so then that should give us what we need here. And while we're still in here, they want us to do phase 3. So let me copy that for phase 3. Oops, let's do here, phase 3. the assertion. So this is where we do validation on this, right? Okay. And we're going to say, wait a second. Oh, this is too far. All right, so now we're going to say, assert that the score is greater than or equal to 80. All right, we got the score in there, and we can stop here. We'll finish typing this out when we get back from break, and then we'll give it a try. We got it because we still got to do the assert, the print, and the exception so that we can try it out and see what actually happens. So I'm excited. This is a lot of fun. Learning a lot about testing these AI models, and then hopefully today we can actually, maybe we'll get into actually being able to using one of the official testing tools, but just getting this context is absolutely amazing. All right, it's amazing.
Flawless victory.
All right, let's go over into our break. Let me see if we have anything in the chat. If not, we're gonna get into our next story of tonight. Let me see. All right, good. We're good to go. We're good to go. Let's go into this one. Would you ride an air taxi? It's at JFK. It is at JFK Airport. Like, not like New York has enough troubles to deal with, but that's what they're into. Let's go ahead and pull this up.
Closer look at air taxis. Imagine landing at one of the big airports here in New York City and getting something like a helicopter to pick you up and bring you to your hotel instead of a cab.
I know, it sounds like such a far-reaching possibility, but it is actually one big step closer to becoming a reality. Eyewitness News reporter Lindsay Tuckman joins us live from Kennedy Airport with a look at New York's next generation taxi. Ooh, do tell us more.
Yes, good morning. Hey there, Charlene and Pedro. It's kind of like a yellow cab, right? It's going to do exactly what cabs do, and that's bring New Yorkers to places they want to get to quickly, but it will be in the sky, not on the ground. You can actually see Joby's electric air taxi. It's behind me here, parked, getting ready to do a demonstration here on the tarmac at JFK Airport. It'll be flying, just getting people around like a cab. But we do actually have some videos that was a preparation flight that Joby Aviation did last week to kind of show people what it'll look like to get you where you need to go. It was departing from JFK Airport and landing at sites across the city's existing heliport network, which includes the downtown Skyport, the West 30th Street and East 34th Street heliports in Midtown, where you often see helicopters taking off. But this is not exactly a helicopter. It's like a mix of an airplane and a very quiet helicopter that does take off vertically. Now, this is a California-based company, and it's working to get Federal Aviation Administration certification to be used as a cab to get people across the city. And it is a really advanced aircraft, as you can tell, but specifically the goal is to bring people from JFK to where they need to go in 7 minutes. And you know what it's like driving to JFK Airport. It is not so fun, so this will be a quick and easy way to get around. I'm joined now by Bonnie Simi live, Joby's President of Operations. Bonnie, thank you so much.
Before we get into, I think it said Bonnie, does this mean this is going to be more work for our air traffic controllers to have to babysit these air taxis? Because they already have to deal with everything that's happening at JFK Airport, and there's probably like private flights that are coming in and leaving JFK that they also need to be accountable for. But I'm just curious of how this is going to be regulated, and where is it supposed to be landing? If it's going to be like landing at like helipads that helicopters normally land at. Who's responsible for helicopters? Like, it's not the air traffic controllers, because I would guess the air traffic controllers mainly take care of things at the airport. So I'm kind of curious if we have anyone who is familiar with helicopters and air traffic control and the FAA. How is this supposed to? Junior, you're familiar with drones and the was it Part 107, whatever that test is for drones. How is this going to play a role in all of that? I'm very curious.
So much for being here. It's a very exciting day for you all.
It's a fabulous day.
Tell us what you can expect if you're a New Yorker when this gets literally off the ground. What can people take advantage of once Joby's working?
Absolutely. So the goal here is to make it very, very seamless. We're partnered with both Uber and Delta, so you'll be able to book right on the Uber app. You can have Uber X, Uber XL, or Uber Air and fly a Joby aircraft. Very, very seamlessly, and also very quiet. That's one of the things that people should be looking forward to, is that it doesn't sound like a helicopter. In fact, you can't even hear it at all overhead. We've done a lot of NASA studies to prove that. It's also all electric, so that is very sustainable. So it takes off like a helicopter, and then it transitions and flies like a plane, which allows it to be faster as well.
And faster, I think that's the key thing. People want to get to where they're going faster. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of congestion. Can people expect to have that smooth ride soon?
Yeah, so we're in our final stages of certification with the FAA. So once we achieve that certification, New York is going to be one of our launch markets. It's perfect. You can imagine, New Yorkers spend over 100 hours a year in traffic, and now you can, instead of spending that time, you can spend more time with your loved ones, which is really what this is about. And we also are, at scale, we tend to match similar to ground transportation in terms of cost. So this is intended to be very accessible. Operating our aircraft is a lot cheaper than operating a helicopter. So this is something for all New Yorkers.
Accessible is very good. And also, New York is a complex airspace. We have many major airports and some minor airports, helicopters, and of course, giant tall buildings. Yes. So talk a little bit about the safety standards incorporated in all this.
So first of all, our aircraft has highly redundant. So it has a lot of different safety aspects to it. It's got 6 propellers instead of, say, 1 rotor on a helicopter. So safety is very much embedded in what we do. In terms of the airspace, yes, it is complex airspace here in New York, but our aircraft operates like every other aircraft and other helicopters. We blend right into the existing infrastructure. And then at scale, the FAA is building a new next generation aviation infrastructure to allow for increased air traffic and even safer. So we fit right into the existing network right now.
Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. I appreciate it. We're excited to see it take off, and you guys can watch it as well as it gets ready to do these demonstrations across the country. The goal is to have Joby Aviation debuting in New York sometime within the next year. Guys?
I like quick rides.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm saying I like quick rides.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about this. I don't know if I'm game yet, but
I'm excited to watch.
It's exciting.
You can't say that with the executive of the company right there as a newscaster. Come on. You can't say that when she's sitting right there. Can I go back?
Watch it as
increased air traffic. The existing.
Look how uncomfortable the Bonnie Simi was when the Joby's president of operations when the newscaster was like, I don't know if I trust. Come on.
Infrastructure. And then at scale, the FAA is building a new next generation aviation infrastructure to allow for increased air traffic and even safer. So we fit right into the existing network right now.
Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. I appreciate it. We're excited to see it take off, and you guys can watch it as well as it gets ready to do these demonstrations across the country. The goal is to have Joby Aviation debuting in New York sometime within the next year. Guys?
All right. Watch closely at Bonnie's face. She's going to be like, I don't know what to, like, she just smiles. She's like, I don't know what to do with this comment. Like she really wanted to say,
how dare we speak Merry Christmas?
I like quick rides.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm saying I like quick rides.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about.
She has what are you doing to our company? Like, just look at her face. She has that awkward stare and smile. Like,
this. I don't know if I'm game yet, but
I'm excited to watch.
You see, he's like that disgust that she had in her face.
It's exciting.
See?
I like like quick rides.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm saying I like quick rides.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about this. I don't know if I'm game yet, but
I'm excited to watch
She kind of rolled her eyes too. Bonnie kind of rolled her eyes like, what? What? You know what? I don't even want you on our air taxis, our electric air taxis, talking all that trash. I don't know if I'm game yet. Like, at least say it after she's not right there live with you guys. My goodness. Anyways, would you take an air taxi? So let's do this real quick, right? Looking at, so I did a search for like, what's the cost of these new air taxis, right? And it says that the cost of a ride for a new electric air taxi, like the one being tested by Joby Aviation, or just and Delta Airlines, from JFK to Manhattan, is currently predicted to be $150 to $200 range. Now, I've heard it could be about $100 to take an Uber from JFK or LaGuardia or whatever for a very long time. So, $150 for $50 more to $100 more. 7 minutes, you fly. You get to be with your family. All right. Per seat per seat though. So if you have more than one person, then it gets pretty pricey. The companies have stated that they are pricing the flights to be comparable to the cost of a premium car service or an Uber Black. But for Uber Black, you don't pay per person. You can like have a clown car and have a bunch of people jump in, right? Here's a quick breakdown of what to expect. Launching price 2025, 2027. Early estimates place 10-minute flights between $80 and $200 depending on the exact route and operator. At scale 2028. As the industry scales, the goal is to drive the price down significantly, with target price eventually dropping closer to $50 per ride. Value: while standard taxis run around $70 plus toll and tip and take 60 to 90 minutes, the air taxi reduces the same trips from JFK to Manhattan down to under 10 minutes. That is pretty good, because guess what? Time is money. So if you can save that time, it's a good deal. However, how many of these are going to be taking off? At least we're getting our flying cars, right? At least we're getting our flying cars, but not sure yet. I'm with the rude news reporter anchor, questioning the president of operations for Joby right in front of her face. I would not do it right in front of her face. I would wait till we're no longer on screen so she didn't have that awkward moment and roll her eyes at me. But I don't know, like, I like the idea, and the price looks pretty good, especially like if you can save 60 to 90 minutes. But I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about this. I'm kind of nervous, but I'll definitely give it a try. Even if it's the last thing that I ever do, I would give it a try. All right. Okay, maybe not the last, but I digress. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Drop me a comment. Let me know, would you take a ride in this? Would you take a ride in the air taxis? And they're probably going to be. So I see right now. I see New York is their pilot. But quickly, it's going to go to the other major airports. LAX is going to get it. Chicago, Denver, definitely Atlanta, especially if they're partnered with Delta, definitely Atlanta, because I heard Atlanta traffic is crazy. It's going to go to Miami. Where else is a big airport? Dallas, Fort Worth. Wherever there's a big airport, they're going to get there eventually, right? If it takes off. However, I would also want, like, how much would one cost for myself? And are they human operated? Because I do want one for myself, right? Because if I could just jump into I'd have no problem going to the office if I in an office. Could just jump in and, take a ride to wherever I got to go. Where do you park these things, though? Where would you park it? Oh, I think we did check this before. Is that about $200,000 for one? If you wanted to buy an electric air taxi for yourself, you can't buy a Joby. You can't buy a Joby or an Archer aircraft for private use right now, but you can buy a single-seat personal eVTOL. If you want to park within your garage, the current market for a personal single-seat eVTOL sits right around 150K to 250K. The Jetson 1 for 148. Pivotal Helix for 190. Are they? Yes, with a massive asterisk. The short answer is that they're humans at the control, but the computer is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. I'm getting one. I'm gonna put that on my birthday wish list for next year. I want my personal eVTOL. What is the? Let me see the Pivotal Helix real quick. Pivotal. Oh, that looks good. Let me see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Run me one of these. I'm with it. Is that how it looks? No license required. What? I'm getting one. I'm getting one. Some people want to go half on a baby. I want to go half on a pivotal Helix. That's what I want. I want one of those. All right. Rod Brown, want to go half on a pivotal Helix? We can split it. Have joint custody. 50-50. Meet you in Jacksonville. You get it every other month. What do you think? Would you be interested in getting your own Pivotal Helix or Jetson 1? Would you ride an air taxi from JFK Airport to Manhattan? Or are you like that rude news anchor like, nah, I don't trust it, right in front of the president of operations for Joby? Let me know your thoughts. Drop me a comment. Do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content as well. techcoachraft.dev. Join us for Vibe Code and Chill. Join us for Scrum Nights. Get access to Resume Flow to get your resume analyzed and see how well you match up to the job that you want. Get access to Tech Barbarians coaching portal so you can organize your day, your life, your goals, all of that good stuff, and get access to the Tech Barbarians coaching portal, but the speech coaching app so that you can practice speaking. So stop saying like all of that stuff over at techcoachraft.dev. Sign up today. Do not hesitate. All right. Okay, let's get back to work because we got a lot of work to do. Well, actually, no. Let me check the chat real quick. See anything in the chat? If not, we're gonna jump. All right. So in the chat, Rod Brown says, I am not writing one of those. And he says, nope, he is not going half on an eVTOL with me. Bruh. I mean, I could sing to you. Like, let's go. I can't sing, but let's go half on an eVTOL. I can't do it. Maybe I'll make a song. Right? I'll make a song for you, Rod Brown. Go half on an air taxi on a flying car. Let's go half on a flying car. Nope. Okay. All right. Well,
ain't believing us.
I tried. All right. Maybe Junior will go half with me. All right. Maybe we'll go half with Junior. I don't know. I tried. Anyways, let's get back to work. All right. Let's put up another 20.
Let's go!
Just gonna have the shadow behind me. Anyway, all right. Let's go. All right. Let's finish this up. So when we left off, we got the score, and we said we want to put the reason why it failed. And then we say print. So if it passes, we're going to print. And we're going to put a check mark. Test passed. The model successfully handled the non-deterministic task. And now we're going to put our exception for the try, because I say JSON decode error. That's our exception. We're going to say print. And we're going to say F string and then we're gonna do X. So this is gonna be printed if there was some type of failure in like the decoding of the JSON. Test errored. The model failed to return valid JSON for the evaluation raw output. So the raw output is going to tell us what went wrong. Evaluation results, and it'll print out the evaluation results. All right. So then we're going to say assert false to fail it. And that's everything. So let's go ahead and run this. How is it? Oh, because Gemma's doing Gemma's doing its own evaluation. So that's fair. Right? So what I'm gonna do after we run this, then I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have DeepSeek do the evaluation to see what DeepSeek says as well. Let's run that. Make this bigger now that we have all this done. So we just have to wait for Gemma to generate the defect and then run it through. So we'll see once it generates a defect, then it's gonna have to run it through the evaluation, which is gonna take some time again, but you know, that's how it works. All right, so while it's doing that, let's go ahead and look at the next steps. Let me see. We got this. We're doing this. So why is this a crucial next step? Testing the vibe, you are no longer checking if the strings match exactly. You're asserting that the semantic meaning and formatting rules of the output meet a certain threshold. The score is greater than 80. Handling, and this is how like you can say, all right, I want it to be like within 90 and like to get it as tight as possible. Handling unpredictability. Every time you run the script, Gemma will write the ticket slightly different. However, as long as the core concept iPhone, okay, so we're defining what we want to be inside of our, like, it has to include these in order to be correct. So I was on a coaching call earlier today and we were talking about AI testing, and the thought was, oh, I'll be the judge, but we want the large language model as a judge. So what we're able to do in this case is the criterion that we would be looking for to judge it, we're giving that to, we're passing it to another prompt that says, all right, as the judge, if it has these, then you can give it a score, right? And then as you continue to work on that, you can start to give it more and more criteria in order to get the score like even tighter and make it more reasonable. Because the foundations of AI frameworks, when you eventually look at a TypeScript tool like PromptFoo or Python framework like dbval, you will know exactly what is happening in the background. They just wrap this exact tool call process in a nicer UIs and pre-built metrics. We're gonna skip a few times to see how the ticket generation changes, but the test still holds up. Once you have this mental model locked in, do you want to explore a RAG retrieval augmented generation workflow, or rather moving into the visual matrix tool? I think I'd rather go into the visual matrix tools first, because these are the things that we're going to need for what. Okay, so I'm going to ask though. What would moving into testing a RAG? What would testing a RAG do for us as the next step? I'm just curious about that. And Gemma's still going, so we'll wait for it. Because I do want to get into like the visual matrix, but I am curious. Moving to RAG, retrieval augmented generation, testing is where AI shifts from testing a neat trick to testing enterprise grade architecture. Right now, most production AI applications don't just rely on what the model already knows. Instead, they fetch external data like PDFs, a database query, or user profiles, and inject it into the prompt so the model can answer based on specific data. Testing a RAG pipeline introduces a massive new risk that traditional QA never has to deal with: contextual hallucinations. If you are building a SaaS application that analyzes user resumes to track job application fits, you can pass the text of a user's resume into the AI as context. Testing RAG ensures the model doesn't look at a junior developer's resume and suddenly hallucinate that they have 10 years of Kubernetes experience just because they saw the word Docker once. Okay, fair. Here's exactly what testing a RAG pipeline does for you and specific metrics and measures. The two pillars of RAG QA. When you test a RAG system, you are no longer just grading the final output, you are grading the relationship between the prompt and the retrieved context, the resume/document, and the final answer. Faithfulness. Did you make this up? Test. This is the most critical test in RAG. Faithfulness measures whether the model's output can be directly deduced only from the context provided without injecting outside knowledge. The test, you use your large language model as a judge script to compare the generated output against the source document. Failure state. The user asks, what certifications does the candidate have? The context document lists Security Plus, the model answers Security Plus and AWS Cloud Practitioner. The test fails because AWS is not in. Okay, fair. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll probably go into the tools first, and then maybe next week we go into like the RAG part of it, because that might take us some time. We have to like set up a RAG possibly and put data into it. So that might take us some time to do, right? Answer relevance. Did you find? All right. Sometimes the model is perfectly faithful to the document, but completely misses the user's intent. The test. The judge model evaluates if the output directly addresses the prompt without rambling. Failure state. The user asks, what is the candidate's highest level of education? The model responds, the candidate has a Security Plus certification. While true in the document, it fails the relevance test. Okay, fair enough. Why this is the next logical step. Building a RAG test forces you to architect a slightly more complex QA pipeline. Instead of a simple prompt to response, your script now looks for this: inject, provide the model with a dense chunk of text, the context, and a specific question. Generate, have the local Gemma model generate an answer. Evaluate, pass the context, the question, and the answer to your judge model. Score. The judge model runs the faithfulness and relevance checks and returns pass, fail, score. This is the exact methodology used by dedicated AI testing frameworks like Ragus or DBval. By building a basic version of it yourself, you master the core mechanics of how to validate an AI application. Is safe to put in front of paying customers. That's fair. Would you like to build a quick Python script to test RAG scenario using a dummy document as our context to see how the faithfulness evaluation actually works in code? I don't want to do that right now. I'm going to say I want to do that next, but I'd rather take a look at the what did they call it before? I love where this is going. I just don't want to do that first. At the visual matrix tools. At the visual matrix tools to first. Let's go with that first. Oh, Gemma is really, really slow on this. Maybe it's something on the computer, but it's like taking forever to answer my question. Oh, never mind. Never mind. It did answer my question. I just need to scroll down. That's all. I just need to scroll down. Jumping into a visual matrix tool is a fantastic choice, especially when you're building out automated agentic workflows. When you are rapidly prototyping or vibe coding, running single Python scripts gets tedious. You need to see the big picture. How does changing one instruction in your system prompt affect 5 different edge cases simultaneously? This is exactly what prompt does. It takes the LLM as a judge, concept we discussed and scales it to a visual grid. You define your test cases, rows, and model prompts, and it runs across products of all of them, giving you a beautiful matrix of passes, fails, and raw outputs. How to set up your prompt flow locally to hit your Gemma 4 models. All right, so we'll get to that next, right? Let's go take a look at this result. So we have our bug ticket, and we have all of our details, title, all of that, to put into Jira, and actual results. So now we're asking it to evaluate, and it got a passing score of 100 out of 100. The ticket is comprehensive, explicitly names iOS platform correctly, details the Stripe 500 error, and maintains a highly professional, actionable tone. Test pass, model has handled non-deterministic. All right, perfect. And then we could, just for sake of time, I'm not gonna run it again, but we would just to see, like, it would continue to pass. Gemma's a pretty strong model. So let's go ahead and dive into this portion of it. I am curious because it says do an NPM package, but do we want to go with Python since we're already in Python? Is there a Python version we could use since we are already working within Python? Just curious, like I can use the other one. We're already in Python, so why not stick with Python? If not, we'll just use prompt foo. Let's see what we got. Staying targeted with Python is definitely a cleaner move. When you're rapidly vibe coding, if you want to keep your visual testing matrix to Python, you have two excellent paths: an off-the-shelf library or building a lightweight internal tool. Direct Python equivalent prompt tools. If you want the exact functionality as prompt foo but built for Python, the industry standard is prompt tools built by Hegel AI. It's an open source library specifically designed to test prompts, large language models, and vector databases in a matrix format. Pip install prompt foo. You write your test case in prompts in standard Python script. Instead of running a node server that ships with a built-in UI, you just run prompt foo playground in your terminal, and it spins up a local web interface where you can view cross-product matrix of your Gemma 4 tests. Let's go with that just for the sake of time. We'll go here, and we're gonna go to, well, in here we can just go into Python packages. Let's search for prompt tools. Install. Guess we'll do the latest one. Installing. And then it says in the terminal. Well, I guess I can still do that. Pip install prompt tools. All right. It's adding. And then we do prompt tools playground. Wow, that's installing a lot of stuff. All right, that's done. Now we're gonna do prompt tools playground. Oh, that's unfortunate. Maybe I'm not, hold up. Maybe I'm not, let me see. Source deactivate. Conda deactivate. Okay, they're gonna do source BNV pin activate. no source file or why don't I have a okay Python VNV. Yeah, so I'm creating a virtual environment and I'm going to say source VNV bin activate. All right, and then I'm going to say pip install prompt tools. Python loves to work in a virtual environment. So get those installed again. NBC, NB client. I read NBC, NB client. So once this is done, then we're gonna do clear prompt tools playground. Does that work now? Nope, not yet. Why is that not working? Tools. Okay, let's go back over here then. When I run prompt tools playground, it tells me that the command is not found. Let's see why. And if we are able to see the matrix in time, then we can get started on the RAG. I'm not sure what's going to come after this. We do have one more segment, so. Great job, Phantom. Come see, and this is the hallucination part. Streamlit, they require you to clone their GitHub repo and actually run. So what when I do? Oh God, that's annoying. That is annoying. So what's the point of doing pip install? All right, let's try this. I guess we don't have much time left, but it's annoying. Let's do. Well,
Lunch break. Lunch break.
Let's go to break, and when we come back from break, we'll try to get this prompt tools installed to see how it works, and whatever happens from there. All right, so let's go to break. All right, let me see if there's anything in the chat, and then if not, we're gonna jump into our next segment. Rob Brown says that the going half on the our personal shared flying car sounds highly suspect to him.
How dare you?
Ain't right. You ain't right. You are not right. All right.
The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you. Why do you have to talk to me like that all the time, man?
Robert says Gemini acting up on you tonight. And that must make you very, very, very happy, huh, Rod Brown?
How dare we speak Merry Christmas?
Mr. ChatGPT, they just released 5.5. Now that Gemini is being a little finicky. He's like, oh, ha, 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 ha. I want to get that. Let me see if I can get that sound bite. What is that called? Let me see. Simpsons laugh. Simpsons. What was that guy's name on The Simpsons? Simpsons laugh sound effect. Oops. Nelson. Did I have that? Oh, definitely got to get that one. Definitely got to get that one. Get it right now. Download. Sound effects. Where it works. Let's go to OBS. Got it. And I will put that one. I don't do anything. Nope. I'm gonna put it right there. Where is my stream deck? Boom. Put one of those right there. Replace. See, we build it on the fly. Boom. Look at that. And then I'm gonna get a Nelson laugh Simpsons. And we're gonna go for images. There we go. Perfect. Boom. Done. Done and done. Sweet. There we go. There we go. See, look how we do it. Look how this is how we do it. Like Montel Jordan said. Okay. Let's go over. All right, let's continue the chat. You know, give Rod Brown his little moment to shine. Says why I love all LLMs as long as they do what I tell them. Rod Brown rules with an iron fist. He's like, we cool. As long as that, when I say, he says to the large language model, when I say jump, you don't even ask how high. You just jump as high. You just jump as high as possible. All right. Brown's like, oh, we're not having. We are not having that. All right. We are not having that at all. You know what? I feel you, Rod Brown. I have a little bit more respect for my large language models, but hey, if you want to rule with iron fist, when they come and take over in your sleep, they'll know that, all right, this guy, he was rude to us, and you know, so slow, painful torture is what they're saying, all right? And Rod Brown says, I deserve it. I deserve it. I got you. I deserve it. All right. We're going to jump into our last break of tonight. The FAA, they are making, and Department of Transportation making major upgrades to infrastructure and AI for air traffic and air traffic controllers. Let's jump into that one. So we have two videos for this one, all right? Let's go over to here. So that's the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy. Used to be a congressperson from Wisconsin, I believe.
As everyone gears up for summer travel, the federal government is pushing to make flying safer. You may remember last month, an Air Canada jet collided with a fire truck at New York's LaGuardia Airport. That crashed, killed 2 pilots and left a dozen others injured. Well, in an exclusive interview with CBS News, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy told our Chris Van Cleve how AI could help with safety.
Secretary Duffy was excited to mark a year of progress in his effort to upgrade the nation's air traffic control system, talking about upgrades to radios, radars, and safety systems. But there was a lot to talk about, including the future of Spirit Airlines.
At the urging of President Trump, the Department of Transportation is now reviewing Spirit Airlines' request for a bailout to stay in business just weeks ahead of the busy summer travel season.
No decision has been made.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
What happens to the other airlines that...
Let's get this out the way first. Do you believe that the U.S. government, basically our tax dollars, should be used to bail out Spirit Airlines? The airlines that people complain about roaches, the legroom, the smell from people getting cheap surgeries and having to go back on the plane, the fights, all the type of stuff that you do not want to fly with? Should the government offer Spirit Airlines a bailout? That's the first question. Let me know in the comments. All right, let's keep going.
Are struggling, particularly with high jet fuel. Is the department prepared to bail out other airlines that start to struggle?
Well, that's the question. Then who else comes to my door? But the question will be, can we do anything to save Spirit and make it viable? Or would we be putting good money into a company that inevitably is going to be liquidated?
With a summer full of potential travel uncertainty, Duffy is pushing for a new AI system to help air traffic controllers cut airport delays by merging the flight schedules of all of the nation's airlines long before a flight takes off.
This software will say, well, listen, we can see this 45 days out. Let's move some of those flights a little bit, and we can resolve the issue, and so then you're not delayed.
But he'll need $6 to $10 billion from Congress to build it.
When people hear AI, they either get really excited or really concerned. How do you ensure that the AI system is right all the time and is secure and ready for prime time?
AI is a tool, but we do not replace humans in how we manage the airspace. The final say in anything we do is going to be an air traffic controller. Am I going to replace a controller and have AI manage the airspace? The answer to that is hell no, that's not going to happen.
The push for funding comes...
Yet. Let's not forget the yet part, all right? Nah, I don't see that happening. That's too risky to... I think empowering the air traffic controllers with AI tools and having it around that you can have more visibility and be able to manage these flights better and more efficiently is definitely going to help. But you cannot take that type of responsibility outside of the... I mean, there's already a lot of computer systems involved, but you cannot take like the human judgment. I think if AI can help it to the air traffic controllers not to be having like these crazy shifts that they're working, and maybe encouraging more people to come into the air traffic controller workforce, and if the government can stop shutting down so that they don't have to go not getting paid for X amount of days, that is a much better result.
Amid a number of high-profile incidents involving apparent air traffic control mistakes.
Why do these things keep happening?
We have human beings navigating, managing the airspace. And as human beings, we can make mistakes. That's why I want to give additional tools to support the air traffic.
I agree that as human beings, we can make mistakes. I don't think that we should be... I disagree with the secretary on that one. Because it honestly, let me know what you think about this, but it seems like he's kind of downplaying the major accidents that happen because of air traffic controller mistakes, where it's like, oh, we're human beings, we make mistakes. Yeah, but there's mistakes where if I make a mistake, I might be muted, and then Junior has to scold me for being muted and not realizing that and having a whole conversation with nobody. But then there's mistakes where it can cost 200 plus people to lose their lives, right? So there's different severity of mistakes, and I don't think the excuse that, well, air traffic controllers are human, therefore they're allowed to make mistakes. There's some jobs, like if a doctor makes a mistake during surgery, that's a big deal. If they make a mistake diagnosing the common cold and you actually had the flu, you'll probably be all right. But, when doctors leave watches and stuff inside of people, that's a big deal.
The controllers.
The timeline for this modernization project is aggressive. Secretary Duffy is aiming to complete it in as little as 2.5 years. We also talked about jet fuel. There's concerns abroad about its availability. Duffy says in talking with all of the nation's airline CEOs, they seem confident about the domestic supply of jet fuel, even if the price of that fuel has surged, something we're all seeing in the form of higher airfares. Back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.
So what do you think about these enhancements? There's another, like, I think hopefully in the other video, it shows the actual enhancements that they're planning, because they have some old software, like some old software. So let's jump into the other video right now, because I am really, really curious about everything that's going on here. So let's jump into this one. Hopefully this one has a little bit more context.
We are relieved to hear that the government is upgrading the air traffic control system. Grady Trimble at the Department of Transportation for us. All right, Grady, what kind of upgrades are they making?
Stu, they're getting rid of these for starters. Floppy disks. You might remember these from back in the 90s. I remember doing homework assignments on these. Believe it or not, some air traffic control towers still run software off of floppy disks. These are going to be a thing of the past, and they're going to leave.
I want to know which this makes me never want to fly again. Like, honestly, if I had known that some of these air traffic control towers still have 3.5-inch floppy disks, I used 3.5-inch floppy disks to install Windows 95. The fact that they still have these in our air traffic controller, like, I can start my car from a remote. I have Android Auto on my car. In Teslas, like, we have cars driving themselves, but the ones who are responsible for flights, they have floppy disks? No.
Leave them where they belong in the past. And then another thing they're replacing is these are called flight strips, and these show air traffic controllers which planes are taking off and landing and taxiing at any given time. These are going to be done away with and replaced with state-of-the-art computer screens so that all of the information will be right on the screen.
So they're getting computers. Like, why don't we have this already? All right, just give them the $10 billion. Give them the money. Just give them the money, because this is ridiculous. Like, how do we not have this technology already for flights, for our air traffic controllers?
Screen in front of the controller. Take a look at this, Stuart. This is the plan that the Transportation Department and the FAA have with the $12.5 billion that Congress has approved. They plan to renovate, I should say, 90 air traffic control towers, convert to digital 25,000 radios and 400 voice switches, replace 600 radar systems, and update telecommunication structures to wireless. Here's the FAA administrator explaining why that $12.5 billion on this massive overhaul is money well spent.
The issue is that we can rebuild or we can replace. And, President Trump has said, let us build a brand new air traffic control system. Let's stop, throwing billions of dollars at, trying to keep the existing system sustained. Let's move into the 21st century. Let's get rid of the analog equipment and move into the digital world.
So the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, has asked for $20 billion more to finish these upgrades, but he calls this $12.5 billion a down payment. Here's another system. This is a state-of-the-art radar system, and what this is going to replace, Stuart, is these radars that are from the mid to late 1980s, still in use in many control towers today. There's an age joke that I could make about the 1980s, Stuart, but I am going to stay away from the low-hanging fruit. Stu?
Junior, Rod Brown, Magnetar. They're using tools or devices that are older than us. We have iPhone. Like, they can probably just have an iPhone and do their job better. Like, to seeing what, like, I can go on one of these apps and see when a flight is taxiing and stuff like that, and they have these little strips and stuff.
Good job there, Grady Trimmer. Good job. We'll talk to you again soon. Good stuff. Thanks, Mark. All right.
That's the, oh God. This bothers me so much. This bothers me so much. Give them the money. Do these upgrades. Like, stop shutting down the government. Pay our air traffic controllers. Get the upgrades to the software and give them their computers. Give them Macs or something. I just fix it. Like, anyways, I've had enough. Let's get out of here. Let's go over here. No, hold on. Let me know your thoughts. Should we give the money to the FAA and to the Department of Transportation to upgrade our air traffic control? Why am I even asking this? Like, the answer is yes, but I want to know your thoughts. Are you like, no, leave it as it is. Let's continue to use these 3.5 inch floppy disk. Let's use these radar systems from the 1980s, older than Rod Brown, maybe some of them older than me. And let's use these little pieces of papers, not real computers. Like, let's not welcome the FAA and Department of Transportation to 2020 to 2020, right? Not even to 2000. Like, let me know your thoughts. Also, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Oh my God, supposed to be. Yeah. Let's go over here. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content as well. TechCoach.dev. Join us for Vibe Code and Chill. Let's keep this conversation going because I really want to know your thoughts. Join us on the Google Meet to let me know. Join us for Scrum Night. Get access to Resume Flow, Tech Barbarians Coaching Portal, and the Speak Precisely app, as well as all the plugins that I create over at TechCoach.dev. All right? All right. Let me check the chat, and then we're going to jump into our last topic. Our last segment, our last working segment of the night. All right. Robert says no, it ain't happening. It ain't. What was that for again? I forgot what the no was for. I know I asked a question. What was the no for again, Rod Brown? Let me know. And Robert says low hangs fruit, disrespectful.
How dare you?
And that's gonna be my new favorite one. That's gonna be my new favorite one. All right, let's get into our last working segment of tonight. All right, I'll put up our last 20.
It's time to do.
And so they want us to clone this stupid repo. All right, let's go here. Let me go and pull up let's go over here. Let me go pull up a terminal. Okay, let's go cd pycharm. And we're gonna go to git clone that. And then we're gonna go to cd prompt tools. Then they want us to do pip install streamlit notebook and prompt tools. Let's do that again. Ew, what's that all about? Pip's dependency resolver doesn't currently take into account all of the packages that are installed. This behavior is the source of the following dependency conflicts. Gradio 6.9 requires Starlet. We have Starlet 1.0.0, which is incompatible. Open Viking requires. Let's see if it worked. Let's see. Let me see. Stream lit run prompt tools playground.py. Okay. CD playground. I'm just trying to see what exists in here. It does have playground. What the heck? Okay. Let's go back real quick. So, oh, okay. I was our what? CD dot. Oh, okay, it's inside. All right, gotcha. If we were to try to run that again, why did that fail? Prompt tools playground. Oh, I spelled playground wrong. That's why. Playground. All right. Welcome to Streamlit. If you receive helpful if you leave me alone. Otherwise leave the field blank. All right. All right. So, oh God. We got something's not working. So I opened up this in the browser, but I don't know. Maybe it's because of that error that we got. Just gonna stay over here. It's oh no, I go over here. I can copy this from here. I got this error when starting the stream lit. Let's see if that's an easy fix. I hate when these things take us out of the flow of working on this stuff. All right, let's copy pip install paperclip. Let's do Control-C, pip install paperclip. Okay. It's running. So it's running. All right. So we have this. OpenAI chat. All right. So it's running now. Okay. It's running now. How do we use it? So we'll probably save the RAG for next episode or next show, working on this next Thursday. So maybe we can get because this is how it looks. Let me close this one out. This is how it looks. Not too sure yet how to use it, so we're going to find that out. Do we have a dark mode? Welcome to the Matrix. Think of this interface as your new test execution dashboard. Your goal here isn't to just see if the model can answer a question, but how resilient different system prompts are when hit with various edge cases simultaneously. Here's exactly how to populate the playground to run your first visual test in Gemma 4. Configure the provider, the engine. First, we need to tell the tool where to send the data. Look for the model configuration section. Provider, select a llama or local API. Let's do this. I'm going to go to here. And I am going to put it on this side. All right, there we go. So, all the way down. And it says to llama, choose a mode. Llama, local model path, llama, would it be llama chat? Llama CCP chat? I don't see a, I don't see local API. I just see llama CCP. Let's go check the repo real quick, to be honest with you. Let's go check their repo. Because sometimes Gemini might have slightly outdated information. Let's this guy. Clone this. Up here. Like that. Okay, this is where you put in the local one. Using your playground. I'm in progress. So how do you do local models? Local. Does, Interesting. Let me go take a look at this. There's not a search on here. Using the library. I don't see anything in particular that would be. I guess you can put a path to it. I don't know. Not crazy about this. Let's check prompt foo real quick. Build secure AI. Well, we want the open source one. Where's the open? There you go. This one. So maybe we should have went with the RAG. Maybe this is not what we're looking for right away. Getting started with, let me see what this has. So this has graphs and stuff like that. Works with the command line too. Running 4 tests. Well, maybe this is good. Let's pivot to prompt foo real quick. I'm gonna pivot to prompt foo. Let's go over here. I'm gonna stop this from running. And I am going to say from in here, terminal, npm install -g prompt foo. Well, that sucks. npm, oh, I spelled prompt wrong, that's why. Prompt foo. There we go. Okay, wait for it. Taking its sweet precious time. Error overriding peer dependency. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to get. I'm excited to next week getting into the RAG because this visualization stuff, like using these other people's libraries and stuff, sometimes can be a little bit tricky. But it's good exposure, good investigation. Now we want to do prompt foo init. Example getting started. Let's see what that does for us. Example project getting started. So view the getting started readme or run. So let's do cd getting started and prompt foo eval. Let's see what that does. Missing open API key. Could you set it with a local model? So let's go over here real quick. Local. Private LM evals when 100% local. You never leave your machine. Works with any AI, API programming language, battle tested, powers large language model serving 10 million users in production. Why do I compare models side by side? Why do I need to put a... Let me see something. We have a .env. env dot, oh God. I was trying to find a env file, like most require that. See getting, let me see getting started. Most providers, let me see, set up web AI. Add providers. Okay, file to custom provider. This includes clouds, local models like Olama and custom. So how would I do? Okay, there we go. So if we say Olama Gemma 3, where would that go though? Okay, so under where's providers though? Set your prompts. Open prompt foo. Okay, so let's, do we have that somewhere? Let me see. Okay, and then we do Gemma 4. Let's say we comment out and comment that out. Let's try getting started again. This is just prompt for at this point. It's already in the folder. Running 2 test cases, 4 at a time. And then what? Can't see anything though. Oh wait, there we go. It ran input hello world language French. Where is the library? Spanish. And convert the following to language input. Pass bonjour les mots. And ¿dónde está la biblioteca? ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? I have to remember that one in case I ever need to use a little bit of Spanish. All right, view results, prompt view, or prompt foo view, let's see. Prompt foo view. And now we can go and pick that up. And we go over here. And there we have it. So then we can start running. So it says 2 requests, asserts 2 of 2 passed, tokens 501, average token 251, latency 13777. and tokens per second 16. So we could try to pass our. We can try to pass our. Let me see what it has in here. Read me. That's what we read already. How to define prompts with variables using variable name. How to specify multiple models. We can do, let's try this. Do one more test for this. Olama completion. And what is the model name for DeepSeek? DeepSeek-R1. DeepSeek-R1. Let's do. Let's run this one more time. Just curious. Oh, it's not something what I want to run. I want to run the eval. And okay, there goes the prompt. So I'm gonna want to know, and we can do this. Oh, probably don't have enough time, but oh, there it goes. It gave us the. Let's do the view. 2 failed. Let's see why. So if we go over here. Prompt who said to DeepSeek, you talk too damn much. Says Gemma just gives the answer. DeepSeek is babbling about, oh, I gotta do all this, I gotta do all that. But it is an older model though. And then here, and then Jesus Christ. Oh, they got library wrong. Libreria. It's biblioteca, okay? It is biblioteca. But fair enough. All right. That's it for today. We will pick up on this next week. Great show. Very exciting. Learned a lot. What I want to do next week, we're going to get into the RAG, but we're also going to see how we can pass in the prompt that we're doing for our ghetto complaint to see how it's going to handle it. So let's see if we can convert what we built and have it run through prompt foo to get a result, and then we're going to jump into the RAGs. That's going to be next Thursday night, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there, okay? Let me check the chat, see if there's anything one last time before we get up and out of here, and if not, we're going to be out. And I don't, all right, cool. So nothing new in the chat. Let's go ahead and wrap it up for today. Tomorrow, remember, we have the bug bite. We're going to talk about how a Google Cloud Platform customer, how they had a $25,000 bill. They had their limit set to $7. They got a $25,000 bill. How you can protect yourself from that happening to you. We have Vibe Code and Chill this coming Saturday. Looking forward to seeing you there. Great conversations. Remember, Junior gets out of lovable prison. We have Tech Barbarian's going to be talking about some project ideas. Going to talk about AI, what AI is, and like learning about it, and all sorts of great conversations. I'll be there to answer any of your questions. So Tech Culture of the Dev. The meetup is scheduled, so I'm looking forward to seeing you. Do it every other Saturday. You do not want to miss it. Sunday, we're going to be back live again, working on the speech coaching app, adding the user registration flow. So that's what we do, right? But that's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor on your way out, if you have not done so already, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content as well. Go to techcoachralph.dev. Join us for all the festivities, Vibe Code and Chill, Scrum Nights, Tech Barbarians Coaching Portal, Resume Flow, and the speech coaching app, like I just mentioned, all that good support. All right, over at techcoach.dev. But until next time, Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
Long day. Put the car in drive. We left it all out there today. Mind right. Tomorrow we do it again. Yeah. Riding down the highway, street lights passing by. I had to empty out the mind, just looking at the sky. Clear it out. Yeah. I kept my honor clean, no dishonest thought today. Walking with integrity, I'm staying on the way. The muscles aching heavy, but the weight is in the training. I put the hours in, whether shining or it's raining. I studied every art, I'm refusing to be boxed in.
No boxes.
No boxes. I lock the ego out, and I let the wisdom walk in. I'm chilling in the lane, got the cruise control set. I gave it everything I had, I'm leaving no regret.
Ooh. Riding on the late night, shadows on the dash. Leave the world behind you, let the heavy moments pass. But keep the spirit sharp, yeah, we never lose the flame. Resting for tomorrow, just to dominate the game. 5 rings in the mind.
Keeping everything aligned.
Keep it aligned.
Keep it aligned, yeah, yeah. I look at the horizon, I'm taking in the view. I learn from all professions to see what they go through. Broaden the scope. I measure up the day, distinguish gain and loss. Did I really make a profit, or did I pay the cost? Calculate. I cultivate the judgment, I trust the intuition. My gut is navigating on this late night mission. I'm seeing the unseen, looking way beyond the obvious. The energy is quiet, but the discipline is dominant. I'm riding to the house, but I'm staying hyper-aware. The breeze is blowing in through the midnight air.
Riding on the late night, shadows on the dash. Leave the world behind you, let the heavy moments pass. But keep the spirit sharp, yeah, we never lose the flame. Resting for tomorrow, just to dominate the game. 5 rings in the mind.
Yeah. Keeping everything aligned.
Keep it aligned.
Keep it alive, yeah, yeah. I pull up to the driveway, I cut the engine off. The world is going hard, but I'm never going soft. I pay attention to the trifles, the details in the dark. A tiny micro movement leaves a monumental mark. Every detail, I did nothing useless. I cut away the waste, cut it. I move with a deliberate and calculated pace. From the water to the fire, the earth, the wind, the void. I built the foundation that can never be destroyed. Now I lay the body down and I let the muscles heal. Tomorrow's sun is rising and I'm coming back with steel.
Riding on the late night, shadows on the dash. Leave the world behind you, let the heavy moments pass. But keep the spirit sharp, yeah, we never lose the flame. Resting for tomorrow, just to dominate the game. 5 rings in the mind.
Keeping everything aligned. Yeah.
Rest the mind.
Yeah. Rest the mind. Reflect on the principles. Discipline never sleeps, it just recharges. Atlanta to the dojo, the 5 rings. We out.